I'm 29. I started my first business at 19. In the last decade, I've started more businesses that I can remember. Except for 4, all others have failed. And from experience, starting a business is one of the hardest things you will ever do. It's not glorious or fun, but if you stick with it, the reward outweighs the struggle tenfold. Here are 10 dark truths about starting a business I wish I knew at 19. Truth number 1, making money is about being scrappy, not cute. After the gyms, when I shut all my gyms down, I pretty much went down to zero. I had no money. I had to take all the money that I had, all the cash reserves, and pay down the leases because I had 3, 5, 8-year leases on certain locations. So that left me with no cash whatsoever. I was at a point where me and my co-founder, we partnered up to start NutriFit, which was our online health coaching company. And at that time, we needed to make money. I needed to make money every single month to survive, every single day to survive. And all I did, my responsibility was the sales and marketing side of things. And marketing was pretty much handled because our ads were really good. All I had to do was sell. And so for 12 hours a day, all I did was jump on sales calls 30-minute on the minute. And I just sold my butt off because I knew that I needed to get one sale at $296, which would cover our ad spend for the day, and it would give us a profit and a customer that we can retain long term. And so in that beginning stage, I wasn't building websites. I wasn't doing anything crazy. All I was doing was just jumping on the phones, having conversations with people, and selling. So when a lot of people start their business in the beginning, they are really stuck with trying to figure out what it is that I need to be doing. The best thing that you could be doing when you start your business is just having conversations. And that's the best way that you're gonna be able to make more money, especially at the beginning. Because the more people you talk to, the more conversations that you have around what your business is, in essence, you are marketing. And marketing is just to make known. You are making known about your product, about your service, and you're letting people know about what it is that you do. And if you don't talk to customers and you build a website, how is that letting people know about what you do? Yes, a website is an electronic business card, but if you don't have a way to send that to people, what's the point? So the first thing you need to do is start having more conversations. Make that a priority, because if you talk to as many people as possible about your business and about what you do, you're gonna have more people interested in what you're doing. It doesn't matter at the beginning. Get the word out there. And one of the best ways to get the word out there is just by having conversations. Have conversations with people at the grocery store. Have conversations when you go to the gym. Have conversations in any moment that you get. You can have conversations online, inside of communities, adding people, building relationships. Talk to people about what you do. And that is going to create opportunities for you to then have customers and make sales, because that's how you make money. You make money by selling. There's no other way around it. The more you sell, the more money you make. And at the beginning, going from 0 to 1, your business requires you to sell. Truth number 2, take action, even if you don't know the next steps. When I was building my gyms, I did not know what the next step was going to be. All I knew was I knew how to sell. I knew what I was selling. And I had some remnants and idea, okay, I'm gonna run sessions and I'm gonna have a gym and I'm gonna have all this stuff. I didn't know where to buy equipment. I didn't know how to hire people. I didn't know how I'm gonna set everything up. And all I did was during the day, I just sold. Because at that point in my life, I was living out of my car and I needed to make money. I needed to get out of the situation that I was in. Yet I chose to take action with the limited information that I had. I could have just sat back and said, you know what? I don't know where to buy equipment. You know what? I don't know how to hire people. You know what? I don't even know what the next step is after I sell people. I could have said that about myself, and I could have used that as an excuse to not push forward. But at that time, I don't know if it was delusion. I don't know if it was just pure ignorance. That thought didn't even come to mind. I just knew I had to keep selling. And then at night, I would take the time to do the research to figure out how I could set up a gym, how I could hire people. What is the steps that I need to take in order to get the outcomes that I want? But the first step is take action even if you don't know what the next step is going to be. I hear a lot of people say that it's much easier to take action when you know the path. But in all honesty, it's easier not to. When you know the path, when you know the next step, sometimes your brain just puts you in a situation and puts you in this mindset that, oh, I know the next step is already hard, therefore let's not even take the first step. Because if you have a path laid out, you can clearly see where it is that you're trying to go. Sometimes it's helpful, but many times it limits you to what you can do. It limits you to being innovative. It limits you from creating that self-belief. Taking action when you don't know the next steps is the ultimate form of self-belief. It's having the courage to say, you know what? I am going to figure this out. I don't know what the next step is going to be. I don't even know what I'm going to do. But you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm just going to take it one step at a time because that is what I can do. And especially at the beginning as an entrepreneur, you don't know the whole path. You don't know anything that you're going to do. All you need to know is the first step. When you start taking the first step, the second step will appear. Then once you take that second step, the third step will appear. And all you have to do is continue taking one step at a time, and the path will become clearer and clearer. Most of us don't take the first step because we're trying to know what is step 2, what is step 3, what is step 4. But the reality is you just have to start. Truth number 3, aim to win the day. When I was building the gyms, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the next step was going to be. I didn't know how to hire people. I didn't buy equipment. My only focus each day was I had to win the day. And what that meant to me was making 2 sales every single day, and then at night, preparing for the launch. That was my mindset. And each and every day, I just decided that I'm going to focus on what I can control, which is winning the day. I can show up, I can do my sales, I can make the appointments that I need to make, and I could just do what I can do at that point. Part of having blind faith is not knowing what the next day is going to look like, and you're just able to take it one day at a time. And so the way that I view the world is that I know if I win the day, and I do that consistently for 7 days, I've won the week. If I do that for 4 weeks, I've won the month. And if I do that for 12 months, I've won the year. Because sometimes what we need to do is we need to take these massive goals that we have or these massive actions that we need to take, and we need to chunk them down day by day. That's all you can really do. And so my goal every single day when I was building the gyms, I had a lot of uncertainty. I didn't know what the next steps were going to be, was just to focus on today. And what I did every single day, I had a notepad. I still do to this day. On a notepad, I would just write down 1 to 3 things, the top most important things that I need to do. And in the beginning, it's going to feel like everything is important. But I will tell you, the only thing that is important in the beginning is making money. When you start your business, the first 3 things, the only 3 things you should be focused on every single day is how do I get more customers and how do I service those customers? That's it. How do I get people? That's going to make me money. And how do I keep people? Because that's going to continue making me money. Truth number 4, let go of yourself to make room for growth. When we started OFP, which is Online Fit Pro, which was our licensing and business consulting company, I had to let go of the gym owner identity. Up until that point, I had 5 locations, I had 5 gyms. And then from there, I shut everything down because of COVID. Then I went into online health coaching. And at that stint of doing that for 6 to 8 months, I realized I don't want to be the weight loss person for women. That's just not the type of content I wanted to create. It was not the type of company I wanted to build because it wasn't aligned with my values. At that point, I decided, hey, I've been very successful with online health coaching. Let's ride this out. And I needed to make the identity shift because there was a lot of health coaches, there was a lot of personal trainers within my network that started asking me for help on how I was successful building my online health coaching business. And so in order for me to serve those people, in order for me to help them in their journey, I had to make an identity shift. I had to make an identity shift from being a coach, coaching of health and wellness, to being a business consultant and helping people with business. And so that was a massive identity shift. I had to let go of who I was to make room for growth as a business coach. And so when you become an entrepreneur, that is what you are. That is your identity. There's no escaping it. I think people try to play this field where you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I understand if you're building the business on the side and you have a full-time job, and so you're also an employee, but you're also an entrepreneur on the side. But I will tell you that the faster that you learn how to compartmentalize that, where you can go, okay, you know what? During this amount of time, I'm a 9-to-5 worker. During this amount of time, I'm an employee. It takes time to develop that skill set where you can put away the thinking of the 9-to-5 employee and think like an entrepreneur, because no one's coming to save you. We are the black sheep of society. That's what entrepreneurs are. You are the hero, but you're also going to be judged. So you have to let go of whatever identity you are holding onto. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, whatever that may be, whatever they have labeled you as, oh, I'm a customer success manager, or oh, I'm a salesperson, or oh, I'm a business development rep, or oh, I'm an account representative. Great. That is what you do for your 9-to-5. But for your business owner, you solve a problem, you provide a service, and that is what you do as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. And so that is the identity you need to cultivate, not this identity. Because what's going to happen is this identity is where you're being told what to do. This identity is where you wait for a paycheck. This identity is you have to show up to meetings. This identity is you have to report somebody on top of you. This identity is you having to ask for time off and not being able to set your own schedule. You have to let go of this identity to cultivate the identity of being an entrepreneur. And the only way that's going to happen is, especially for those of you guys that are working a 9 to 5, you got to compartmentalize. The point that I'm trying to make is that you have to commit to the identity of being a business owner. When your 9 to 5 ends, right? From 9 to 5, from your 5 to 9, that's when you're an entrepreneur. You think like an entrepreneur. And if you can start thinking and cultivating that mindset more and more, and eventually you're going to get the results that you want where you can shed this identity. Truth number 5, you will have to commit. When I was building my gyms, I had an external force that made me commit to the vehicle. So before the gyms, I had tried personal training, was very successful with personal training, but I was like, hey, I don't want to trade my time for money anymore. So then I decided to open up a marketing agency. Then I decided to do e-com. Then I decided to do a gazillion other things. When in reality, I should have just committed to the thing that was working. In hindsight, I look back at that. Now, when I was going all in to build the gyms, number one, I had no option. I was living out of my car. I had to make money. The second thing is that I just committed myself to a 5-year lease. There's no going back. I had to commit to this business. And so the lesson here for a lot of you guys is that just commit and go all in. Don't have any backup plans. Don't play it safe. And when I say commit, I'm not talking about quitting your job and then just going all into the business. I'm just saying whatever business you start, focus and follow through. It's probably not going to be the business that you have for the entire time. It's probably just the business that's getting you started. I am no longer a personal trainer, but that was the business that got me started. That was the business that allowed me to learn the skills that I needed to learn to do what I do now. Because without that business, that journey would have never started. If I had just started that business for 2 months and then quit, I would never have learned the skills. I would never have been put through the struggle that I needed. The steel would not have been forged if I did not go through that. What a lot of people do is they start the business, but they don't commit. And then after a month, 2 months, 3 months, they just drop off. They don't go through the rocky cutscene of actually making it happen because in reality, you're not building the business, you're building you. In order to build a business that will be consistent, that will give you the skills, that really you can get to a point where it's like clockwork and it's maintenance or what we call a lifestyle business, it'll take you about a year to a year and a half. So just commit to that. Just go all in and go, you know what? I'm going to build this thing. And obviously you want to make sure that you're interested in this, but the truth is, commit and go all in, give it a year and a half before you throw in the towel. Or if you're going to throw in the towel, then just start the other business really quickly and commit to that thing. You just want to go from one thing to the next until you can find something to commit to, something to cultivate your skills with. Because if you keep just starting and ending, you're never going to get to where it is that you want to go. Truth number 6, expect it to be the hardest thing that you will do. When I was running the gyms, I got to a point where everything was running smoothly. I had a manager at each location. We had SOPs set up. We knew the playbook and we were just running the playbook hard. However, my expectation was when I built this business is that, you know what? When the gyms are running smoothly, I'll be able to sip margaritas at the beach. I'll be able to do whatever it is that I want to do. I won't have to worry about the business. People will run the business for me. And that was the worst expectation to have. Because no matter at what level you get to, it will always be hard because you've never experienced that level. And so when I had the gyms running smoothly, I had to deal with people problems. And so I was not ready for that. I thought everything was going to be smooth sailing when in reality, it just got harder because I've never dealt with people problems at that level. And so the truth is just expect business to be hard, especially when you're starting out, because you have a plethora of skills that you need to learn. And if you don't learn those skills, then you're not going to be able to grow the business. But you have to learn the skills, and that means doing something that you're not good at for a long period of time until you get good at it. And that is uncomfortable, and that is hard. But if you expect business to be hard, people make this into this glamorous thing that entrepreneurship is, you know what, like all of a sudden I started a business and now I can expense everything and I can make a bunch of money. It takes time. When you're growing the business, it's hard, not because you haven't done anything, because the first time you exercise, it's hard. Eventually, exercising becomes very easy. But the reason it's hard because it's growing pains. You are learning, you are growing. Business are just skill sets, it's inputs and outputs. If you have the right inputs, you will get the output that you want. Business is emotionless. But when you put a person who's building the business that has all of these limiting beliefs, this identity issue, these different factors, that's when it becomes really tough. But if you look at business of, I just need to take this actions to get this outcome, it's very, very, very easy. Where it gets hard is the person that gets involved because you or yourself are growing. For me, I started with sales. I had that skill set. The other thing that I needed to learn was how to generate leads. That was hard for me. I had to learn how to make ads. I had to learn all of these different skill sets. I had to learn tech, how to set up meta ads. There's all of these skills that I need to learn, and that was hard. But in reality, I wasn't growing the business, I was growing me. And so if you expect that, hey, it is going to be hard and it's going to be stressful, that is the reality. And the best way that helped me deal with the stress of starting a business was beating my body up. I made sure that I was training. Like still to this day, I'm starting from ground zero. I'm starting back up after my exit last year. I am now building everything back up. I'm building up inside of content. I'm building up inside of profitskills.com. We are starting from ground zero. And in order for me to keep my sanity, in order for me to not be stressed, I'm physically beating my body up. I am running, I'm training, I'm getting to a point where I can calm my mind of the stress that's there. And over time, the more you do, the more adapted you get to stress. Right now, I will tell you, I am not as stressed starting this thing as I was when I started my gyms. So the more reps that you put in, you grow and you get better. And when you grow and you get better, that's the greatest skill set that nobody can take away from you. Truth number 7, don't complicate it, just solve problems. All business is you having the ability to solve a problem. And then the next level above that is you having the ability to solve a problem for a specific person. Every business that I've had has solved a problem. When I was a personal trainer, what did I do? I help people work out. I help people educate themselves on how to train. Then I became a health coach, right? So now I'm helping people with their health overall, with their nutrition, with their sleep, with their movement. Then when I was running a licensing and business consulting company, what was I doing? I was helping health and wellness professionals transition from in-person to online. I'm solving a problem. When we had Remote Wellness Institute, we were helping people become health coaches and make a career in the health and wellness we were solving. The problem is that we were helping people transition from their 9 to 5. Every single thing that I've done solves a problem. Every single thing that you will do will solve a problem. And this goes back to the idea that I was talking about earlier, which is don't worry about the problem you solve. You just need to pick a specific problem to solve. And it doesn't have to be big. It can be really small. I started helping people work out. That was a very, very common problem. A lot of people are solving it. A great thing is look at problems that people are already solving. Cleaning, solving a problem. Plumbing, solving a problem. Take your skills, take a hobby, take an interest that you have, and figure out, based on those 3 things, what is a problem that you can solve. And remember, this is not going to be a problem that you're going to solve forever. This is not going to be the business that you're going to commit to forever, but this is going to be the business that helps you learn the right skills. Truth number 8, all the answers that you seek can be found by talking to your customer. When I was building OFP Online Fit Pro, I started by people reaching out to me and asking me how I built the online health coaching business. And so I started giving them answers. I started helping them. And I knew, okay, there's something here. This is a problem that I can solve. And I talked to I would say about 20 health and wellness professionals before I kind of started getting an idea of what kind of product and problem I wanted to solve. And so when I was ready to solve that problem, I took on 5 beta students. Beta students are really testers. These were, hey, I'm going to coach you for a nominal fee. I charge very less. And the reason I charge for it is because people who pay attention. And so I brought them under my wing. And every week by week, I designed the curriculum with them. I designed the product or the service with them. I asked them about what their challenges were. And then in a Google document, and I made some videos, and I just solved that problem. We just asked the customer what exactly the problems that they were facing. And then inside of our product, we built that solution. That was it. And so if you're confused, if you're like, hey, I don't know what to build, I don't know how to solve this problem for a specific person, it goes back to rule number 1, go have conversations, because those conversations are not only going to lead to money, it's actually going to lead you to having the ability to figure out what is the specific problem that you can solve and how you're going to solve it. And so just like right now, as I'm building Profit Skills, I didn't know what I was going to build. I didn't know what the offer was going to be. We didn't know anything. So what I did was I joined a few communities. I lined up calls with about 20 people, and I just started asking them. I started talking to them, started asking them how I could help them. And then based on that, in 2 weeks, now we have an incredible product built that we're going to launch soon. All the answers that you seek, all the answers that you're confused about, if you don't know what to build, if you don't know where to start, starts by you talking to your customer. So figure out the problem that you want to solve, figure out the person who has that problem or people that have that problem, and then just start talking to them and seeing the actual challenges that they face and from different angles that they face them so you can solve that problem. Because at the end of the day, business is just about solving problems, and you will get more answers by talking to your customers. Truth number 9, the biggest thing that's going to hold you back is how fast you can learn skills. When I started my first business, the personal training business, I had the skill set of sales. So I worked at a gym. I had to sell memberships. I had to sell personal training. We had to go out to parking lots and collect phone numbers. We had to get referrals from members, and we had to call them, and we had to make sales. That's how it worked. We hunted for our leads. And so I knew how to do cold lead generation, which is just cold outbound, right? Going out up to people, collecting names and numbers, and selling them. Then I had the skill set of sales. I knew how to generate leads, and I knew how to sell. But when it came to going into my own personal training business, I was really good at the sales part. I could go out and generate a whole bunch of leads, but what was happening is that as I started getting more clients, I started getting booked up. So I needed to learn a new way of generating leads. And so the new way of generating leads, I invested into a mentorship program that taught me how to run Facebook ads. And that is what gave me the ability to run paid advertisement. And that is what added a new skill into my tool belt. And so your ability to grow your business really comes down to skills. So you got to sit back and you go, great, I want to build this business. I want to solve this problem, and I want to solve this problem for this specific person. I've talked to a bunch of customers. Great. Now I'm talking to people, which is great, but I don't have a lot of time. What other ways can I expedite this process? Now you just have to learn different skills. So you can learn skills of generating leads and having conversations. There's different ways of having conversations. So you can do manual outbound, cold outbound, which is going up and talking to people, which is going on social media and doing outreach to people that you don't know. There's warm outbound, which is reaching out to people you do know, which is the first place that I recommend. Have conversations with everybody that you know about the business that you have and get customers that way. That's the easiest way to customer customers. Then there's paid advertisement. So now that's going to help you generate conversations. And then the third one is having affiliate partners or referrals. That is how you can have conversations. Then the next thing you're gonna have to learn, the skill set, is building an audience, right? How do I nurture those relationships? Do I have? Do I create content? Do I have email? Do I create a community? What do I create? There's different ways that you can create an audience. Then there's revenue. How am I gonna make sales? Do I need to learn copywriting? Do I need to learn how to sell over the phone? What do I need to learn? And then last but not least is experience. How do I increase the customer lifetime value? How do I actually build a onboarding process to make sure that the service that I provide is really awesome? So these are all skills that you're going to have to learn. Just like losing weight. Losing weight requires skills. What skills do you need to learn? You need to learn how to track your calories. You need to learn how to move properly in tracking your movement. You need to manage your time, and you need to sleep. Those are just skills, because if you want an outcome, the only thing holding you back between the outcomes that you want and where you're at are skills. And they get moneyed by identity and how we feel and whether we want to take actions. Yes, but at the end of the day, if you have the skills, you can get the outcome that you want. And business is a skill, and there are a lot of skills to learn. And the faster you can comprehend this truth, which is business is going to be hard and I have to learn a bunch of skills, and the faster you realize I just got to go learn those skills, the faster you're going to get to where it is that you want to go. And so just identify, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm trying to go. These are the skills that I need to learn inside of business. And once you acquire those skills, there's nothing holding you back from growing the business again, which goes back to you growing yourself. Truth number 10, don't get married to a business model. When I first started personal training, when I joined the mentorship program, they introduced me to a software. I got sold this idea that I'm one funnel away from making a certain amount of money. And because I was one funnel away, I got swooped up by the software hype, and I got sold into the products. I got sold into the software in and of itself. And I sold myself the belief that I had, because I was marketed to, I'm not going to blame anyone, this is my naiveness, was that if I just build the right funnel, then my business will grow. When that's not true. The funnel is just one element of it, which is part of what we call audience. That's how you nurture, but you need a way to generate conversations. You need to generate leads. And so I got sold into this idea that this business model or this funnel or this software is going to be the way that I make money. When in reality, there's no special vehicle that's going to help you make money. It's just your skills. It's taking your skills, stacking them together, and using those skills to solve a specific problem for a specific person. But in reality, money is a byproduct of solving problems using your skills. There's no magic business model. There's no magic funnel. There's no magic anything. It is just understanding business principles and using those business principles to build your business by solving a problem. And what ends up happening is that you have to understand a hammer doesn't build a house. A hammer is a tool. There's multiple tools that build a massive structure that is a house. And so don't get sold on a hypey software thinking that it'll grow your business. Right now, there's a hype around, I'm going to build a community because that's how I'm going to make money. A community is just a tool to help you nurture the audience that you have. It's not the end all be all. It's not a business model. It is just one tool inside of your tool belt. And once you start seeing things this way, you don't get limited to certain softwares. There's no magical email software. There's no magical funnel software. There's no magical newsletter software. There's no magic writing software. ChatGPT is not going to build your business. You're going to have to build your business for you. Is it a tool that you can use to build your business? Yes. But it is your main business? No. So please don't get married to a specific software or a platform. The tool is just a tool. you can use any tool to make money.